Good morning, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and I never do this. It's about 6 o'clock here. In about 30 minutes, I need to be out of the house and on my way to work. But I got to talk to you. Today, the dysfunctional, fascist, Putin-loving GOP will be back in session in the House. They have done everything they possibly can to shut down this government, and that is at the direction of Donald Trump, so that he can point the finger at Joe Biden because he knows that he is in deep trouble. Okay? The media can talk about how his role to the nomination for the GOP candidate for the presidency has been strong. They've got nothing to work with in the Republican Party. They've got nothing to work with. Everybody that has been running would vote in lockstep with what Donald Trump wants. I don't care who it is, Chris Christie, whatever. Chris Christie helped to make Donald Trump what he is. Okay, let's remember this. Nikki Haley would vote in lockstep with him. In fact, Liz Cheney voted 93% in favor of his policies. So that's the GOP in general, no matter how you look at it. And I do admire Liz Cheney for what she did, but that has nothing to do with her policies. Okay, I would not vote for Liz Cheney. But they are back in session, and we face two dates that are important, March 1st and March 8th. And they are intent on shutting the government down. What's at stake here? Okay, we have the Farm Bill, which honestly, Debbie Stabenow and the Democrats and the Republicans have been working on for months. Months, okay? The other one is the 2024 NDAA bill. And the third one is the Israel-Ukraine Indo-Pacific aid and aid to Gaza, humanitarian aid to Gaza. All of those are being hung up because of Mike Johnson. According to people in the Democratic Party, I have seen videos that say that most people support passing this. Really? Is that the case? Then if that's the case, then it's Mike Johnson who has got Donald Trump in his ear telling him not to do it because he is intent on pleasing the most radical, vicious, nasty, fascist pigs that the Republicans have in the House of Representatives. I don't need to name the names. You know who they are. That just takes up more time. So let me explain something to you about appropriations bills in this country. They are usually passed clean without any political interference. Okay? Because that is also a question of our own national security. Right now, the Ukraine is running out of ammunition because of Mike Johnson and the Republican Party. They are fighting for democracy, which is something that the GOP has absolutely no respect for, because as far as I'm concerned, all I can see on our horizon, if Donald Trump is in the presidency and the GOP is in the majority, is a country that looks exactly like Russia. Okay, that is what they want. That has been clear. That is what they want. What are some of the things they're trying to stall these bills for? Okay, here are some of the things. They want to pass riders on abortion, LGBTQ rights, transgender rights, equity, inclusion, diversity, and gun policy. All political hot buttons that should have nothing to do with funding our government. This is the worst possible scenario for the American people. We are facing full-on fucking fascism here, no matter what any of you want to think. You think this is all just going to wash out sometime because this is just like every other election. But it isn't. You know what's at stake here. I know what's at stake here. People who are riding the fence and uncommitted, people who are pissed off about the Israeli-Hamas war, let me give you a clue. None of that can come into your factoring for a vote this year. Because if we fall into fascism under the GOP, I promise you one fucking thing. They will hand the Ukraine back to Vladimir Putin, who is already talking about invading Poland and the Balkans. I don't know what you think is going on in the world right now, but you need to wake up. They will hand the Ukraine back to Vladimir Putin, and he will continue rampaging his way. They are talking about leaving NATO, a disaster not only for this country, but for the world. I think you all need to get some perspective here, okay? There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that the GOP will do to aid the Palestinian people in Gaza. They have Andy Ogles on the floor of Congress saying, kill them all. I don't know what you think you're achieving, but all you're going to achieve is sending this country into Republican fascist rule and sending women into the dark ages. And I mean, not just the 50s. We're talking far worse than that. And maybe you haven't been paying attention what's going on with reproduction in this country, reproductive legislation, but you need to pay attention. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later tonight. But right now, my message is clear. The fascists are back in session today. They need to pass these bills. The fact that we are constantly going through this is not normal. There's nothing normal about anything that they're doing. And frankly, the Senate, the GOP Senate, isn't any help. They're falling into the same level of disarray as the House. They are all doing Trump's bidding. We have had 8 years of this guy now. 8 years of this guy and the GOP under this guy. If you can't see what's going on here by now, you may never see it. You want to continue to live with your head in the sand? You want to continue to live in denial? This whole country will pay the price. Wake up. I'll talk to you all later.